Good now. Alright guys, welcome indeed to the live ban list discussion, and obviously if you're watching this on YouTube, you can feel free to say anything you want in the comment section below, but we are doing this live, so you'll see people typing in chat. But anyways guys, the new ban list is just around the corner, and what I mean by around the corner, within the next couple months, we will probably be getting a new list in addition to the adjusted list. If you guys haven't seen the adjusted list, I'm going to show it to you guys real quick, and I also made a video on it. I'll link it down below in the description box. But basically, the adjusted list started 2 days ago, or 3 days ago, depending on when you're watching this. But anyways, so the Plush Fire is banned, Damage Juggler is banned, Azneyes is banned, so that means less Cyber Dragon Infinity decks. Skullcrobat Joker is banned, Monkey Board is also Skullcrobat Joker's limited, Monkey Board's limited, and Draco Slayer's limited. So it significantly put the Before Pile, Before Mage deck behind. And some players are really excited about that. Some players are like, you know, I didn't really like that. Because, you know, it's basically 2 weeks in to what people have invested hundreds of dollars into. The deck is not unplayable, it's significantly nerfed. And that is something that a lot of people did not like. So, anyways, we're here to kind of talk about the ban list and see what ideas you guys have, as well as, you know, I'm going to give you guys my input on it. But anyways, let's go ahead and get started with some of the cards that you guys think that should be unbanned in chat, and then we'll talk more about things that should be banned, because let's do it like, I like it this way. So, like I said, let me know guys in chat what cards you think should be unbanned, as in you guys want them to come off of the ban list, or maybe even from, you know, limited to 2, or, you know, semi-limited to 3. So, reading what you guys said, I just saw DMOC. I was about to type in DMOC, yeah, as if that was going to happen. So, Dark Magician of Chaos is a card a lot of people thought was going to be coming back. So, it had a really amazing effect, then they errated it. An errata means that they've completely changed the card's effect. So, its effect is, during the end phase, if this card was no more special, you can target a spell card in your graveyard and add it to your hand. You can only use this effect of it once per turn. And if this card destroys an opponent's monster by battle, after damage calc, you get to banish that monster. If this face-up card would leave the field, banish it instead. So that's obviously a really, really strong effect. Being able to get back any spell card. Now, it used to get back the card immediately. Now it's during the end phase. So obviously much, much slower. And on top of that, we've got a lot better cards just in the game in general. And this card is technically only as good as the spell cards are in the game. So if we look at, like, you know, back in the day, there were things like Pedigree, there was things like Change of Heart, Brain Control. There were so many other cards. Premature Burial. There's a lot of other cards that made this card even better. And I feel like with Dark Magician of Chaos' effect not only being slower, but we also have to look at what's in the game right now. Yes, Raigeki is strong, but if you're bringing out this guy anyways with 2800 attack, he should be able to get over most of the things in the game anyways. I do like that effect that he gets to banish stuff. It's definitely very, very good indeed. But I think this is an errata card that we felt like had a huge chance to come back. Another card is Chaos Emperor Dragon. Another one of those, wow, oh my gosh, crazy cards. But then it got a huge nerf, just like the Vesper in Black Ops 3. But anyways, this card has the effect that you banish a Light and a Dark to summon it, and then you get to pay 1,000 life points, and you send all cards on the field and in both players' hands to the graveyard. Then you get to burn your opponent for 300 damage for each card sent by this effect. Now, the downside with this card effect is that you can't activate any other card effects. So, one popular play, if you guys didn't play back in the day, there was this card called Yatagarasu. And since everything in the graveyard, which, well, this guy is also banned. We'll talk about him in a second. So, an old strategy used to be Chaos Emperor Dragon, and then you set Sangan, or if you would have Sangan previously set, or however you get Sangan on board. You get Sangan and Chaos Emperor Dragon, and then you search out Yatagarasu, and then you attack your opponent. Yatagarasu has the effect that when it inflicts battle damage, your opponent gets to skip their next draw phase. So you would literally summon Yatagarasu and have them never be able to draw, and you beat them down for 200 until they lost the game. That's how it used to go. Not a very fun thing to run into, and back in the day, you had a lot of draw power, so things happened that normally would be inconsistent, so to speak, as today's standards goes. But I mean, heck, there's a lot of draw powered Monarchs today. But so that was like those are two cards that got an errata that I'm aware of, that I think that have a lot of potential to come back into the game. Next up in chat, I saw Wind Up Zen Mighty. So Zen Mighty, there was an announcement of some type of new machine toy cards. A lot of people thought it was wind-ups. I thought it was wind-ups. We haven't gotten any news on it in a long time. We did get Chaos Dragon, an announcement of support a long time ago, and they're finally coming out with that new structure deck. I don't know if they're going to make like a machine toy structure deck. I don't know if the new support, like I said, is wind-up support. It's machine toys was the translation. But anyways, Azneyes was a really dirty card, and no one liked playing against it when they would open up, and they would do what's called the wind-up loop, where they would destroy a bunch of cards out of your hand, or get rid of, or send to the graveyard, completely different from discarding. They would send a bunch of cards from your hand to the graveyard with this card called Wind-Up Hunter. So like a little history lesson for you guys. If you didn't play back in the day, I think it's Wind-Up Hunter, right? Wind-Up Hunter. Maybe if they just ban Hunter instead, someone might just figure out a loop anyway. So I would prefer just this card to go away. So this card has the effect that you can tribute one Wind-Up monster except for Hunter, and you send one random card from your opponent's hand to the graveyard. So you would essentially loop it, and if you had Pot of Avarice, when Pot of Avarice was legal, it allowed you to basically loop your opponent's almost entire hand, or if their entire hand. So I feel like this card, if it gets banned, and Wind-Up Azneyes comes back, that's cool. Because, like, look at all the Karakuri cards that just special summon another Karakuri monster. Wind-Ups haven't been seeing any play, and so I think it'd be kind of nice. Also, sending things to the graveyard is much better now, in some circumstances, because if you destroy the card, sometimes they just go face up to the extra deck afterwards, they've been summoned, the pendulum mechanic. Speaking of Pot of Avarice, a lot of people were talking about this card. So Pot of Avarice, if you guys haven't seen this, you target 5 monster cards in your graveyard, and you shuffle them into the deck and draw 2 cards. We all know pendulums, they go to the extra deck. So I think this would be a good card to come back into the game because it doesn't support pendulums and it gives those other decks like Plant Synchro a chance. Yeah, the way I also see it now, though, is that if you go off in plants and you have a bunch of cards in your graveyard already, you probably should have won the game, because more than likely, that deck is forced to make Quasars and do crazy plays to finish your opponent off in one turn. But technically, halfway through your combo, if you Pot of Avarice, you can almost guarantee yourself, if you can Quasar someone and then you can Pot of Avarice after that, and maybe get another card to go off, you can actually win the game pretty hard. But that's my thoughts on Pot of Avarice. I think, like I said, it doesn't support pendulums, and I like that. Some of you guys know I'm not a fan of the pendulums. I'm not going to be one of those players that says I'm quitting because of pendulums, but I'm not a fan of the mechanics. Some people don't like synchros, some people don't like XYZs. I just find the mechanic to be a little bit unfair, so to speak. But next up, I saw a lot of you guys talking about Rescue Cat. So let's talk about Rescue Cat. Rescue Cat is a card that has opened up so many doors to the craziest combos in the game. Now, if you didn't know, Rescue Cat, when it was legal, if you had Fishborg Blaster and Rescue Cat, and I think like a Treeborn Frog Engrave, there was basically a 2-card Quasar combo. It was very awesome. But Rescue Cat opens up a lot of different, like, crazy combos. One combo that I would say this led to Rescue Cat pretty much being banned, because it got reprinted as a super rare for such a short amount of time that it was immediately banned. So Rescue Cat, if you guys don't know what it does, you send this face-up card to the graveyard to special summon 2 level 3 or lower beast type monsters from your deck. It used to get out X-Saber Arabellum and like Sea Koala, and it got a lot of cards that opened up what's called the Dark Strike Fighter OTK/FTK. But Dark Strike Fighter has also been nerfed since then, so that option is not viable. If we look at something like X-Sabers, right? I want to say X-Sabers pretty much got Rescue Cat banned. So there is an old card combo. Let me show you guys this old school combo just to give you guys some nostalgia, or if you guys didn't know about the combo back in the day. So you would use Rescue Cat's effects, and then you would get Arabellum. You would get X-Saber Arabellum, and then you would also get Dark Soul. So what you would do is you would special summon these 2 cards from your normal summon, and Dark Soul and Arabellum would then be brought out. They're both level 3, so you can synchro up for a 6. Arabellum has the effect when it inflicts battle damage to your opponent by a direct attack, you get to discard a random card. And Dark Soul's effect, during your end phase, if this card was sent from your side of the field to the graveyard this turn, you get to add an X-Saber monster from your deck to your hand. So these both have pretty decent effects. It's more so Dark Soul's effect that you pretty much get off. There's a card called Hyunlei, also, and this is just like off of, again, just Rescue Cat alone. So Hyunlei had the effect that when it was synchro summoned, you get to select and destroy up to 3 spell and trap cards in the field. This is still viable in today's game when we have pendulums that have, double for scale, and then you get to go ahead and blow up 3 cards, which is obviously really good. because not only did you use one card to blow up 3 cards, have a monster with 2300 attack, which is decent, you can run over some stuff, and then during the end phase you get another search. And that's not counting your Fall Troll combos, which you can special summon Fall Troll, you can get back that Dark Soul, and you used to be able to get multiple Dark Souls effect. And then even after that you can go for Gotems and then like maybe tribute something. You get a lot of combos with this, but like I said, being able to use one card, pop 3, and then search 1, it was really good back in the day. There was not that many cards that netted you that much free extra advantage. You know, if they made like a rescue cat, maybe you can only target X-Sabers, it'd be pretty cool, because we got a lot of new X-Saber support, but the deck never really took off. Anyways, next up, Monster Gate and Reasoning. A lot of people want these cards to be at 1. Monster Gate's obviously already at 1 in TCG, but in the OCG, I believe it's at multiple. Reasoning is a card where it's at 3, and Infernoids need it, honestly. Like, if Reasoning didn't exist, I don't think anyone would play Infernoids. There's no way. And maybe someone would be like, oh, maybe Magical Merchant. They can try, I guess, but for the most part, Reasoning is what makes that deck. So if they get rid of Reasoning, it will make a lot of players more upset. Maybe they can make a different card that is like a nerf version of Reasoning, but for the most part, you need Reasoning in Infernoids. Like, no one would play it, like I mentioned before. But I can understand the frustration, because it adds a lot of random mechanics. I mean, Yu-Gi-Oh! Is a card game. Any card game has random mechanics, because you draw cards. You know, that opens the door up. I mean, sometimes there's dice roll. Sometimes you coin flip to see who goes first, or dice roll. That can determine a lot of different games. And Reasoning is just one of those cards where it adds more randomness to on top of randomness, which some players like, some players don't like. To me, I mean, if you want the game to be a more competitive game, I would have just removed Reasoning in the first place. That's just my personal thoughts on this card. But Yu-Gi-Oh! Is a really random game in general, especially with some of the archetypes that have coin flipping mechanics. Even though they're not meta, people have ran Cup of Ace in like a lot of FTK decks, and they've won, they've topped, so just some people like this kind of decks. Anyways, I see you guys talking about Lavalval Chain, so we'll go to Lavalval Chain. See, the way I see this card, since a lot of cards have been neutered, specifically like Damage Juggler, which is an excellent card to send in the graveyard, I feel like Lavalval Chain can come back. We already have a card that's very similar in the OCG. It's not out yet, but Beatrice is a card that has relatively the same effect. I mean, yes, it requires different...
Harpy Feather Duster.
It requires different cards. Oh, hey, what's up? I love Fo. Or Fuh. Thanks, man. Harpy's Feather Duster. But anyways, yeah, we can talk about Harpy's Feather Duster in a second. But Beatrice, the way I see this card is it has pretty much the same effect, and it's like, the way I see it, it goes kind of like with Trishula, how we had the Necros, Trishula, and then we had regular Trishula. It's like Trishula was banned, but Necros get it. Well, how come some decks get the Lavalval Chain, but then other decks just don't? Because, like, obviously some decks can make it, and some decks can't. So I feel like if you're gonna let one deck have it, why can't all decks have it? You know what I mean? It makes it much more fair, in my personal opinion. Unless it's a very specific card, it makes the archetype unique or something along the lines of that. But yeah, that's my thoughts on the whole like Lavalval Chain. Like if one archetype can basically have it, or I guess multiple decks can technically make use of it. Phantom Knights can make great use of that card as well. We don't have it yet in the TCG, so yeah, we'll have to wait and see if maybe it'll just be banned before it gets in the TCG. I doubt that'll happen. It'll probably be, and it's not going to be like banned as soon as it comes out. But next up, a lot of you guys were talking about Future Fusion. Well, Future Fusion would be great for the new dragons. If you guys didn't know, we are getting a new dragon structure deck, so it'll be an excellent card in the new dragon structure deck.
Get this guy off me!
Because Fox, get this guy off me. Because you're able to send all of like the dragons. I don't know. I think it would be out of control good, but I don't know. If you want to like literally win off of one card, this is literally, I've activated this. More than likely, I'm going to win the game if you are playing the new dragons. Rotor will more than likely not go back to 3. It does support some of the new dragons and it supports the monarchs technically, but I don't think that's a card that will go to 3 again. As far as Shockmaster, I don't like Shockmaster. But there is a reason why I liked him at one point. The reason why I liked him at one point is because if you're playing in spellbooks, if you call spells, they couldn't play. And I really liked it because spellbooks, they need spells, obviously. It can destroy one-trick pony decks, but because everything is monster effect based, like 90% of decks have to have monster effects. And if you go no monster effects, sometimes your opponent can't play. I don't like cards like Vanity's Emptiness. I felt like this card should have got banned a long time ago. I don't think there's anyone that thinks like Vanity Emptiness is a very fair card because it goes, I special summon all my monsters. Now you can't special summon. It's the same thing that goes with Royal Oppression. I mean, yes, of course we have Twin Twister, but like, what if you don't draw Twin Twister? Oh, then you just lose the game. It's like, I don't like it when my opponent makes stuff, and then like, if someone goes Natria Beast, and then like, Vanity's Emptiness, it's just like, well, like, it's very hard to deal with Natria Beast in the first place. But on top of like a Vanity's Emptiness, you can't bring out the monster to get rid of Natria Beast. So that's obviously a problem, and like, I mean, yeah, I know if cards go to the graveyard, then it gets rid of it, but like I said, sometimes you don't have those options anyways to force Natria Beast to actually use its effect, but it's just those double effects of, oh, I'm going to keep on negating whether Pendulum, like the scales, or like, just having this card. I don't think it's very fair, like I mentioned before. As far as Heavy Storm and Harpy's Feather Duster, a lot of, let's go do no ban list so we can like drag it over here, and then let's go to Harpy's Feather Duster. So is it Harpy's with a apostrophe? Okay, so Harpy's Feather Duster and Heavy Storm. A lot of players have been wanting these cards to come back because they don't like when people set 500 cards and go ahead. But the way I see it, guys, is that more than likely, most of the traps in this game prevent your monsters from getting summoned in the first place. And what it will do is it will hurt Pendulum decks, for sure, if both of these become legal. And I think the way that the OCG did it, which was they legalized Harpy's Feather Duster, is that it still encourages Pendulum play, right? Because if I'm playing Pendulums, I would definitely run Harpy's Feather Duster. If I'm not playing Pendulums, I will still run this card. But if I'm playing Pendulums, I might not want to run Heavy Storm. More than likely, yeah, of course, it's like, you can look at it like Dark Hole, like, well, it doesn't really matter because I can just go for my stuff. But the thing with the Pendulum mechanic is, when you play Heavy Storm, you have to realize, what if you go for your Pendulum Summon and then destroy all the back row? You could have just got Solemn Notice or something like that. Whereas with a card like Harpy's Feather Dust, you can go ahead and go for Harpy's Feather Dust and then Pendulum Summon. With, like I said, Heavy Storm, you can't activate Heavy Storm then Pendulum Summon. Unless, of course, your field is blank. I'm talking about when you've already had your scales already on board. So, I don't know, that's the way I see it. I see Harpy's Feather Duster coming back before Heavy Storm, but that's just the way I like to look at it. But anyways, yeah, we actually already talked about DMOC already. As far as Stratos goes, you guys already know how I feel about that. This guy should have been freed so long ago, man. He should have been freed. I put him to 3, and I promise nothing will really happen in the game. I honestly think that. I mean, do you guys actually think that, you know, Cosmos would lose if this card went to 3? Like, you destroy Cosmotown, they get another free card anyways. But it'll at least give hero players the hope that they can actually play, right? Yeah, I think that will be definitely viable. As far as Inzektor goes, a lot of people are trying out Inzektors with like Mathematician. I feel like Dragonfly and Hornet should all go to 3. Like, just destroying like one. We have Twin Twister at 3. Twin Twister is one of like the most crazy destruction cards in the game right now, and you can gain advantage off of like discarding things like the well. You used to be able to get off of Damage Juggler, but now you can get it off of the Trick Clown. You can get it off of some other cards that have utility in the graveyard anyways. So that's my thoughts on that. One of you guys said Fiber Jar. I don't think anyone likes this card. This card basically resets the duel. I think it's a very like Morphing Jar mechanic, but it's way more broken than Morphing Jar because it essentially resets the entire duel. The only thing that doesn't change is whatever is banished. But yeah, I don't think this card come back. It could open up a lot of crazy stuff. One of you guys mentioned Brainek. Brainek cannot come back, in my personal opinion, simply because of the way the game is oriented. It'd be a super wild card. Another card that I think some people think is crazy, but I don't, is Thousand Eyes Restrict. So this card, used to be able to get out with Metamorphosis and stuff like that, but anyways, its other monsters can change the battle, cannot change the battle positions or attack. Once per turn, you can equip a monster. You could instant fusion apparently into this, and yeah, you could absorb a monster, and that's kind of cool. If you destroy a battle, you destroy the equipped monster instead, and it has 0/0. So what this means is you're using essentially, you know, use instant fusion to get out this guy, and he gets to take a monster, and then he gains the same attack. It's a pretty decent card. I think it's got a lot of potential to just kind of be one of those wild cards that comes back that slightly upsets people in the beginning, kind of like how Regeki upsetted a lot of people. But when people actually try it out, if you look at how you can instant fusion Norden, grab another, Norden is way better than Thousand Eyes Restrict because Norden opens up a toolbox, whereas Thousand Eyes Restrict it just takes a monster. With Castell or a lot of these other cards, you have more outs. With instant fusion Norden, you can already get rid of that monster. And that's what I like about it. And this card, I mean, yeah, other monsters can't attack, so like you're kind of limiting yourself also, essentially in that turn, until they get rid of this monster. But I could see this card coming back, and I'd like to know your guys' opinion on this. Because I've talked about Thousand Eyes Restrict for a while since we've had Instant Fusion and Norden in the game. A lot of you guys mentioned Super Poly. I don't know about that card. I didn't like losing to it. I liked it when I had it. Is it Super Dash Poly? Super Polymerization. Very cool card. At one point this card was at 3, and then I think it was Shadal's made it go to 1, and then now it's actually banned. It was one of those cards where it's just like, oh, I have an out to like almost everything. It was kind of cool, but I feel like what Shadal's really need, like I don't know if you guys, are you talking about this for Shadal's or for Heroes or for what exactly, but oh man, I think it's kind of loud. Let me actually get rid of that real quick. Oh, but I feel like Construct, like if we want Shadal's to actually come back and be, you know, more relevant in the game, Shadal Construct is probably the card that they need. Just a 1. Jin to 1. I don't know. What's strange to me is they banned the Jin, but they didn't ban the Vandy's Emptiness. Because I feel like Vandy's Emptiness is... It is one of those like really unfair cards that I just don't like. And I think a lot of players will agree with me on that. But I feel like Construct should just be at least 1. Just give them 1. Dragon Rulers, I think they've had their time. They gotta promote the new dragon stuff. Oh my gosh, that thing is actually really loud. Alright, there we go. We can like mute that real quick. But ban more Magical Library. I mean, I can make a video just talking about this card, but this card, like in a short summary, if I could spell library. To sum it up, Royal Magical Library is never used in anything that's just like normal. It is only used in FTKs and crazy stuff that like ruins the game, quote unquote. It's not a very balanced card. It's never used in anything that's reasonable. As far as Graceful Charity goes, I don't see that card coming back, but anything can happen. We're talking about the same people that made Spellbook of Judgment. So speaking of that card, I don't think that card should come back, not even to 1, because you could technically reset that over and over. But I've already talked about Level Chain. Is Honest at 2? I don't think that would make a big difference.
Get this guy off me!
I think it's at 2, right? Oops. Honest is at 1 in OCG. I just want to see what it was. Oh. So TCG adjusted. Honest is at 2. I think all of these could go to 3. BLS probably can't go to 3. Rescue Rabbit. It's at 1 still, right? I feel like 2 would be a good number. I mean, no one's playing this deck anyways, but I mean, technically first turn Dolka is still first turn Dolka, you know? I think at 2 people will be encouraged to try it out, but at 3, could it honestly get crazy? I don't even think it could be that crazy at 3 when you consider Pendulums can just, you know, keep on going for it. So that's the way I see it. Let's go look at the ban list so I can like refresh on this. So I can refresh myself on some of the other cards that we can talk about. So, Towers has been banned. I feel like this was kind of dumb because they're reintroducing cards that have the same effect. They're like banning cards but then making the same cards. If you look at Scout and you look at Monkey Board, you're like, oh, well, you know what? Scout was at 3, then they're like, oh, we can't have something that goes and just gets a 1-card Pendulum Scale. Oh, let's release a card that's a 1-card Pendulum Scale. And even better because it searches out a searcher. But that's the way I see it. It's just they're repeating things that are already broken. They're selling you the same stuff but making it banned. And I don't like that business practice. I actually kind of want to make a video like kind of addressing some of that. But I already talked about that. I've already talked about that. As far as like wild cards, things like Brain Control, like they're crazy good for sure. I'll definitely give you that. But a lot of these decks nowadays, like the boss monsters are just immune to everything. Gateway, please no man, please. I'm surprised that they ban cards like Gateway. They're like, or like just like auto win cards. But then like you keep Vandy's Emptiness, which is an auto win card technically as well. I just don't like cards like Gateway. But I feel like if Gateway's gone, like get rid of things like limiter removal. Get rid of things that just like sack people on this next level. You know what I'm saying? That's at least the way I see it. Maybe like Premature, I could see that coming back, like as a wild card, you know, something like, wow, dude, I didn't expect that. Or just, let's see, yeah, Imperial Order would be pretty crazy, but there's no way. That would be the craziest thing.
Congratulations, You won. Congratulations. You won.
If Imperial Order came back, oh my gosh, you guys have no idea. That would drive people nuts. That would hurt Pendulum so hard, but that I doubt it. Next up, I mean, that could go to 2. I don't think the deck would really do anything. You ban one of like the strongest. You ban the card that basically like won what against meta. So, but you could play Raid Rappers and just use 2 cards and make it anyways. And heck, did you see that one duel, guys, earlier today? I don't know if you guys were here, but he tributed and got this card with 5,800 attack that had the Raid Rapper effect, and it's very hard to deal with that in general. But next up. Some people were talking about this going to 2. I mean, it's a really great card, but I think it'll probably maintain itself at 1. Mathematician I thought was a kind of a strange card to put at 1 because that's a really slow card. You use up your normal summon. Yeah, I can send a lot of great things to the graveyard, but if you look at like, you know, what's in the game right now, it's very mediocre, especially since you have to use your normal summon on something that more than likely just going to be setting up your future turns, and a lot of turns in Yu-Gi-Oh! A lot of games don't have that many turns in Yu-Gi-Oh! I'm sure if you competitive players play, you know, Cosmo just attack, search, pop, the game. Like, everything is super fast. Mathematician is almost irrelevant in most of the meta today. Especially when a lot of, like, the Inzectors aren't even that great in the first place. But anyways, New Space and Granimal, like, you gotta use your normal summon on that. Well, I mean, yeah. But I mean, I guess you can pendulum summon that card. But New Space Granimal, I like that card. It's always been one of my favorite cards in this game because it was a very fair card. I don't think the card's broken by any means. But yeah, I feel like that card should definitely go to like 3. I don't think it would change the game. Thunder King, if it went to 3, I don't know. Like, so there's so many decks that just search like crazy, and Thunder King, like, it's not relevant. Like, if you don't open up with Thunder King, like, Thunder King's almost irrelevant in this game because everything searches so fast turn 1 and just goes crazy draw power. That's the way I see it, though. I honestly don't remember what the loop is with this. I don't know what we hit, but there was a loop with some of these, so maybe that's why these are here, and they'll probably end up staying. I feel like Conahawk should go to at least 2. Like, come on. Ritual Beasts weren't even, like, super high tier. Like, yeah, they've topped, but, you know, everything else in the game just kind of outclassed it. It's like, oh, you know, was it Steeds or Ambushed? Whatever one that, like, destroyed 2. It's like, you couldn't destroy 2, or is it destroyed 2, or is it equal to Ritual Beasts? It doesn't really matter. All that matters is Pendulums is too good, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, that's how I feel about the Ritual Beast. I feel like Ritual Beast should definitely get a small boost, and I'm sure a lot of you guys will agree. Be like, Conahawk to 2 would be fair. Like, that's not going to make the deck like the best deck in the game for sure. Book of Moon, yeah, I feel like this card should have been at 3 a long time ago. We've evolved. Heck, people are using Chalice. Chalice is basically like Book of Moon, but in some cases even better because sometimes you actually just want to keep the monster in attack mode so you can actually deal damage. With Book of Moon, you're not going to be able to OTK them sometimes. Sometimes you have to Book of Moon like a Christie or something that's stopping you from special summoning, and you want to be able to finish them off that turn, you know? But yeah, that can kind of hurt. One Day Peace, I remember someone mentioned that a long time ago. I don't like this card at 3. I don't even like the card in general. I think, like, there's no decks that play One Day Peace that are just, like, average, like, you know, win condition decks. It's always FTK, OTK, that kind of crazy shenanigan kind of thing. Alerted 2 probably will not happen. That card's been at 1 for 5 ever. I don't know. Heck, dude, again, we're talking about the same people that made Spellbook of Judgment, so at that point, I don't know. I think anything is technically possible. I think I covered most of the stuff that I personally wanted to cover. I wanted Vanny's Emptiness banned a long time ago. I wanted Bottomless to go to 2. I wanted there to be more Pendulum hate, simply because I want them to not be able to go Pendulum Summon for a bunch of cards. Oh, I mean, I know Solemn Notice is a great card, but I want more cards that don't let players overextend and not get punished for it. Like, for example, Torrential, I don't even care too much about this card because, well, when the meta was literally Pepe only, pretty much. Like, Torrential Tribute, yeah, if you Torrential them at the right time, yeah, you could definitely win. But a lot of the times, like, if you didn't have a follow-up play next turn, you would just, they'd just be like, I'll just Pendulum Summon again. Like, I didn't like that. I'd run a Bottomless hit and just be like, no more Pendulums for you. Now I'm going to win by just playing my deck and drawing 1 card per turn and summoning, like, once or twice per turn. Because you've invested all of these cards into 1 play. And if you invest all cards into, like, 1 play, I don't think you should be able to get away with it for, like, nothing. Like, oh, there's only 1 back row? What else? Hope it's not Solemn Notice. Like, you just need to get them banished. That's how I feel. Upstart and Pot agreed to 1. Upstart will probably not get hit. That wouldn't really make too much sense to me, but you know, some people really don't really like it. What's up, Henry? Charge
Charge of Light Brigade to
Ooh.
3, Honest to 3, Gold SARC to 3.
Oh, Gold Sark, I forgot about. Okay, Gold Sark should honestly be at 3. Do you guys know how slow Gold Sark is right now? Like 2 turns and you're going -1 because you have to wait for those turns to get that card. I feel like that card should be at 3 or 2. Like, what deck is going to be like, yo, I'm gonna Gold Sark multiple times and I'm not gonna lose within those times? Oh, Compulsion should be at 3 too. We're talking in a pendulum format, you know. Torrential is pretty good for Cosmos, but like at 3, even like I said before, I don't know. Would you guys play triple Torrential? Like, I mean, I would play triple Notice, or I'm sorry, I call it Notice all the time, and it's Solemn Strike. Sorry, my bad. So you guys get the concept though. It's the card that negates the effects or the summon of a special summon monster. I really like it. It's a very good card. At least Gear's at 3, but he's like, they're not relevant anymore. Sheehan's also apparently at 3. Do you guys have any more cards that we need to talk about before, you know, I basically say we've talked about everything? Ban Magical Explosion. If you ban Magical Library, that deck doesn't work. And I've wanted Magical Library banned. Again, it goes to the same concept of you can't pull it off. If I mean, the deck only pulls off like win or lose. Like, it's not. Bottomless to 3 would be awesome. Talk about Wavering Eyes. Wavering Eyes, it didn't see any play in the OCG because they've just moved on to other better like draw power cards, as you guys have seen from some of the lists that I posted. It is a very annoying card to deal with. I will agree. When like one person goes Wavering Eyes, another person chain Wavering Eyes, it's just like, oh my gosh, now they get to search, they get to destroy the scales, and then you take the damage. It's dirty, and then they get to banish a card too. Like, it does have that like random factor left, like, wow, dude. But the thing is, like, when you're playing in a mirror match, you have to understand that you just never want to activate Wavering Eyes unless you have to have like 2 copies of Wavering, so you can chain to their chain, and if they happen to have 2 copies, well, then you just lose at that point. That's just how it is. The chain damage other, yeah, it's crazy, man. It is a lot of crazy. Oh, Excite Night. Oh, dude, you guys almost forgot Excite Night, dude. I did too. All right, here's my thoughts on Exiton Night. Excite Night, Exiton. All right. He is fair. He is completely fair. He's like, oh, my opponent just went Pendulum. I'll draw a bunch of cards, search a bunch of cards. Oh, I'm at a disadvantage. All right, let me try to even out the playing field. Oh, I can't even do battle damage this turn. He is so balanced, in my personal opinion. Like, yeah, he can help you come back from a game that you normally shouldn't have come back from. But at the same time, he's balanced, in my opinion, in this game state when we have all of these pendulum cards. I just don't like pendulum stuff. I feel like we just need a little bit more pendulum hate in the game, just so we can keep the decks kind of in balance. You know what I'm saying? Exiton Knight at 1 or at 3, it doesn't really matter. If you're running 3 Exiton Knight, I don't know how you've... First off, I don't know how you've lost advantage that many times and actually busted out an Exiton Knight that many times and successfully got its effect off. I think it doesn't matter if it's at 1 or it's at 3. You only really use an Exiton Knight's effect more than likely once per turn. If you lost that much advantage that many times, I would assume more than likely you've probably lost that game. But anyways, those are my thoughts. Macro 3, Sangan 3. I feel like Sangan is a pretty slow card. Same with Witch. Again, you're going to use your normal summon. They're going to know what you search out for. They're just slower cards in the game. But with the Pendulum mechanic, you can bring out all of them. So then I can see where that becomes a problem. If they errata Sangan and say Sangan can't be special summoned, then I could see it coming back. I don't know. We've had crazy erratas. You know, Dark Souls, one of the craziest erratas I've ever seen. Because this card used to proc its effect multiple times. It didn't say... if it was sent from your side field to the graveyard, it says this turn. If you sent the same one multiple times, you would get it multiple times. That's how it used to work, and that's how it was ruled. But then they're like, nah, we're going to change it after the reprint. Like, you reprinted it, you gave us it for like a couple weeks, I think, and then they're like, wait, hold on, we're gonna change the effect. It's like, man, it's like the same thing with Perform Mage. They released it, gave it full power, they're like, wait, and 2 weeks later, oh, it doesn't work anymore. Sorry, but thanks for buying all the stuff. It's just like, it's really...
boss in this gym.
Anti-spell fragrance limited
or
banned.
You know, that is super anti-pendulum. I like that card. Anti. If I could spell, dude, I can't spell. Anti-spell fragrance. I feel like this card could possibly be hit. The way I see it, I like it though. Like, I want the card to stay at 3 just because it puts those decks in check. And I feel like I mentioned, I know I'm hating on pendulums a lot, but I'm sure a lot of you guys agree with me on this. Like, let's open up a straw poll right now. Do you guys, hold on, let me open up a straw poll and we'll do it in real time. Do you guys think pendulums are fair? Yes, no. Because I think a lot of people would agree with me on this, and this is just, you know, just my opinion on it. But let me open up the straw poll, and we'll check it out in real time. And you guys, by the way, this site you don't have to sign up for. I'm gonna post it in chat a few times just in case someone has fat fingers. You know, my phone screen is pretty small, so sometimes it's hard for me to directly hit the correct one. But let's go ahead and check it out in real time. Do you guys think pendulums are fair? And we could just get a good consensus of how the majority of players feel about this. And you could see, unquestionably, more players think pendulums are unfair. And we have, what do we have, like 522 people here. And a lot of you guys think pendulums are not fair. And it's pretty convincing that you guys agree with me on that. Going to Cyberstein, Cyberstein. If you're watching that on YouTube, I guess you can let me know in the comment section below. Yeah, you go on that straw poll. Feel free to go for it. Anyways, going to Cyberstein. So Cyberstein is legal in the OCG, and it's pay 5,000 life points for some one fusion monster from your fusion deck to the field in attack position. Have you guys ever seen Naturia Exterior? Oh, like, I don't like that card. It's like, I open up with this card, you can't play. Like, I don't like that card. I don't like that game mechanic. It has a hefty cost if you negate it with a Veiler. Oh man, 5,000 life points in the trash. You have a it's literally a coin flipping like mechanic. It's like it literally coin flips the duel. Because if you guys see it, what is this attack? 700 attack. So yeah, it's like it's a pretty game over if you pay 5,000, you get your effect negated, and then on top of that, he's in attack position unless you special summon it like
I'm
Pendulum.
sorry that people are
But
so
that's the way I see it.
But I can't help it that
You can pay 5,000 3 times. Oh well. I mean, if you're playing tag duels, yeah. Or if you're technically using that psychic card where it's like, you can like DNA surgery or DNA transplant, you make Cyberstein a psychic, and then you put that card where it's like, everything becomes psychic, and then, yeah, then you like, put that. Diva to 3, Diva to 3 would be pretty crazy. Diva was at 2, right? What is it at right now? Deep Sea, I think it's at 1. Yeah, but we have Dragoons at multiple, and I think in OCG it might be different. It might be Dragoons at 1, or it might be, they put, like, their Mermail list was different than ours. They hit, like, a sphere, or, I don't think it was Lynn. If I could spell sphere. What the heck? Sphere, if I could spell it. The Abyss Sphere, I don't know, oh, it's Abyss Dash Sphere. They put this at, I think it's either this, they did something different. Necroface, Necroface was only really used in cheese anyways, but Necroface, it was pretty much put, I don't know what you can do with this card at 3, honestly. Maybe if this goes 3, Gold Star goes 3, we might see some of that cheese. If you guys don't know what happened, like this card used to be in some kind of a cheese deck where you Gold Star for it, then you Allure for it. I think Gold Star and Allure were like at 2 at that time. Both those cards are at 2, but yeah, it was like, it was a deck out deck. It was one of those cheese decks. 1 for 1 at 2. 1 for 1 is a great card. I like that card a lot. I don't see it going to 2 though. But that's my personal opinion. You know, we already talked about Stratos, but I think we covered everything. If you felt like I didn't cover anything, Dark Arm to 3 probably didn't happen. It happened in the OCG where they put it at 2, I believe, and they decided, hey, that's not a good idea. Let's go ahead and just put it back. So. That's my thoughts on the ban list. If you guys felt like I missed out anything, obviously you can tell me in the comment section below, or I guess you've probably typed it out. But yeah, self-destruct button, probably, it's one of those, like, kind of, like, dumb mechanics. There was a guy that did top with it. It was really trollsy. Bring destruction to 2 to 3, sure, man, go for it. Because most of the boss monsters are, like, immune to it. Ring destruction's already nerfed. Hardly anyone plays that card in the first place anyways. But yeah, those are my thoughts. Like I said, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below, or if you guys have already typed it out. Awesome stuff. But anyways, thanks for watching, guys. It's been your boy, Will Smith, signing out. And I'm